Let me start the lecture. This is outline of this section. First, I talk about the basic concept and terms of radiative heat transfer. Then I introduce basic laws of thermal radiation. Then next, I talk about radiation laws in a transparent medium due to the slower light velocity. And next, thermal resistance of radiative heat transfer, which is optical absorption. And I introduce the photon mean free path. And I argue about the equation of radiative heat transfer. And finally, I introduce the radiative thermal conductivity. Then let me first talk about thermal radiation. So, as you know, the hot body emits electromagnetic waves, which is referred to as thermal radiation. And the origin or cause of the generation of an electromagnetic wave at high temperature is the charged particles in the matter vibrate more strongly, and this vibration of a charged particle produces electromagnetic wave. Therefore, all matter with a temperature greater than 0 Kelvin emits thermal radiation to some degree. And another important point is that internal energy of lattice vibration is converted to electromagnetic waves and to be released to the space. Basic features of thermal radiation is, first, it becoming stronger with increasing temperature. The second, the color changes from red to white with increasing temperature. And the spectra is continuous. So let me define several terms. One is radiance. Radiance is the radiant energy flux from a surface per unit solid angle and per unit area of radiating surface. And the radiant emittance is the radiant energy flux emitted by the surface per unit area. Difference from the radiance is this does not include unit solid angle. Therefore, this is the integration. Radiant emittance is an integration radiance to all directions. And spectral radiance is a radiance at a given frequency or wavelength. And spectral energy density is a stored energy per unit volume at a given frequency and or wavelength. Then, next, let me talk about specific intensity. Measures of energy flow is referred to as specific intensity. And this is correct, not the flux. And this is the amount of energy, DeV, transported through a surface area of matter, dA. This is proportional to the time, dt, time length time, and d nu, this is a frequency width, and d omega. Omega is a solid angle, and projected area over this area to the normal line of the area. So this projection is made by the cosine theta. Theta is the angle of the radiance from the normal line. And the proportionality factor is referred to as specific intensity. This is a function of this cosine theta. You can imagine it become strong if it close to a normal direction, and it should become goes to zero if it become close to parallel to dA. And this energy, d nu, is therefore a function of I nu. Nu denotes it's a function of a frequency times cosine theta projection to the normal direction, and dA, area over this area, and d omega, solid angle, and d nu, frequency, and dt time. When we convert from a function of frequency to wavelength, we have this relations. The intensity, specific intensity as a function of wavelength is equal to the speed of the light over wavelength squared times in specific intensity as a function of frequency. Because as a function of specific intensity as a function of frequency, wavelength times d wavelength is equal to specific intensity as a function of frequency times frequency width, and frequency is equal to light of the speed over nu, then d nu is equal to minus c over lambda squared d nu. Therefore, we have this c over lambda squared factor. Next, let us consider the radiative flux. Flux and specific intensity, the difference is it is in integration to all directions. So the energy emitted from the surface in normal to the surface is proportional to the specific intensity times projection cosine theta and the omega, solid angle. And if we consider this semi-sphere, this area, this is a solid angle, which is a product of this opening d theta times d phi times this cosine theta, because this length becomes smaller and smaller with decreasing theta. Therefore, we under integration is over half semisphere. Therefore, flux density, flux is equal to integration over the solid angle with respect to solid angle d omega over 2 pi over specific intensity I mu times cosine theta. So therefore, we decompose d omega into sine theta, d theta, d phi. We have this relation, equation 533. So next I introduce the basic law of thermal radiation. The most important essential law is Planck's law. Planck's law describes the spectrum density of electromagnetic radiation emitted by a black body in thermal equilibrium at a given temperature T. And this spectrum density is expressed by this function. Black body radiation is equal as a function of frequency nu and temperature is equal to 2h mu cubed over c squared times 1 over exponential function of h nu over kBt minus 1 dV. Equation 534. Here h is Planck's constant and c is the speed of light and kb is Boltzmann constant. So b nu is frequency energy density between nu and t plus d nu. Then we have this multiplication d nu. This is a plot of this Planck's law. Horizontal axis is a frequency. In many literatures, in the majority of literatures, black body spectral density is written, shown as a function wave number, but as a function of frequency, as a function wavelengths, because as a function frequency is more essential. Therefore, I choose this plot. So at low temperatures, 5,000 Kelvin, relatively low temperatures, the spectra is very weak, and with increasing temperature, spectra become stronger and stronger, and peak frequency shift to higher frequencies. So this is a range of visible spectrum. At 5,000 Kelvin, still the peak is out of the visible spectrum, but with increasing temperature, spectrum across the covers the visible spectrum and go to ultraviolet regions. As a result, the total light becomes from red to white because, or blue-white because all frequencies of visible light exist. And at 10,000 Kelvin, this is almost the same amplitude over the visible spectrum. Therefore, at 1,000 Kelvin, the spectrum we feel it is white light. The Planck's law of thermal radiation can be expressed many ways. One is using a spectrum radiance, and the other is a spectrum energy density in space. So spectrum radiance is a per unit area, and spectrum energy density per cubic per volume. And this is a radiance, therefore, per steradian, solid angle, and the time. So frequency is with frequency, the Planck's law is given in this equation, as I have already shown in the last slide. And this is a form in the wavelength. So we have a fifth power wavelength here, and instead squared the velocity of light squared comes out in the denominator, numerator, and the exponential function is not the nu but the lambda. And spectrum energy density form is given this. The difference is a factor 4 pi over c. Why this factor appears will be shown later. So let me introduce the derivations of Planck's law. And let me derive the Planck's law. The concept of this derivation is nearly the same as heat capacity of solid and Debye approximation. The difference is in the Debye approximation, the wave number is limited, or frequency is limited because of the discreteness of the atoms. But in the case of the black body, in the case of radiation, there is no limitation. Therefore, form is a bit different. So let us consider black body. This is an object capable of emitting and absorbing all wavelengths of light completely. And let us consider a cavity or empty black body container. The temperature, whose temperature is maintained at a constant value. And as a result, the radiation is absorbed and emitted, and on the wall, all the light is absorbed. Therefore, intensity of the light is 0. Therefore, in the equilibrium conditions, the light thermal radiation should exist as a stationary wave. Then, let us consider the dimension of the container is L. Then the wavelength of the stationary wave is 2L. This is a fundamental mode, and 2L over 2. The first overtone or second harmonic, 2L over 3. Second overtone or third harmonic, and blah blah blah. This continues to infinite. This so goes to 0. Wavelength goes to 0, and frequency is C over wave number, wavelength. Therefore, which is equal to nc over 12 using this n of harmonics, order of harmonics. And we observe the leaking out of the light through a small pinhole to observe the radiation in the container. Then the stationary waves of the thermal radiation can be expressed using this formula. So this is a wave propagating in the x direction. Then it oscillates in the y and z direction, and at the cavity, at the wall, they should be 0. Therefore, y part and z part must be sine function, and x part is expressed using cosine function. This is not obvious, but this is necessary to the no divergence, no electric charge within the container. Let me omit this explanation. The same is true to the electric field oscillating in the y direction, z direction. And Ex0, Ey0, Ez0 are amplitude of the electric field, oscillating electric field in x, y, z direction, are propagating in the x, y, z direction. Then we substituting this formula into the wave equation. The second partial derivative of electric field is equal to the velocity squared, here the speed of the light, times Laplacian electric field E. And we have already learned this could become a omega squared electric field E is equal to c squared times nx squared plus ny squared plus nz squared times pi squared over L squared times electric field E. Here the wave number is expressed by this n in the x direction. Harmonic order in the XYZ direction. No, this is correct. Sorry. So then we have this relation, omega squared is equal to pi squared c squared over L squared times nx squared plus ny squared plus nz squared. And the frequency nu is c over 12 times nx squared, ny squared plus nz squared, and square root over this summation. And we define n squared is equal to nx squared plus ny squared plus nz squared. then mu is equal to C over 2n, 5, 3, 14. Then let us consider the density of moles between n and T plus Tn, as we have argued in the heat capacity. So the density mode is Tn, small dn, differential dn, and there are two vibrational mode polarization in the electric field, so we need a factor 2. And small n is this relation, therefore it is spherically distributed in a small n space. Therefore, between n and n plus dn, there is a 4 pi n squared dn moles. And because of the stationary wave, nx, ny, nz should be larger than 0. And therefore, only 1 over 2 cubed of 4 pi n squared sphere should be valid. As a result, the density modes between n and n plus dn is equal to 2 times 1 over 8 times 4 pi n squared dn, which is equal to pi n squared dn. And using mu, frequency mu, with this relation, we have 8 pi L cubed over C cubed times mu squared d nu, equation 5316. Then let us remember the Planck distribution, and we multiply Planck distribution and number of density, then we have a total energy of electromagnetic wave in volume L cubed, like this. This is multiplication, this one, this. Then spectral energy density is obtained by normalizing this formula by V over L cubed. So this one. So this is a Planck's law of radiation, over thermal radiation by spectral energy density. Then let us consider the Planck's law in the spectral radiation, spectral radiance. The electric magnetic wave is taken out from pinhole, and therefore we have, this is one solid angle. Therefore, for a unit solid angle, we should normalize the this formula by 4 pi, 4 unit angle, and the emitted light sweep this length over time delta t. This length is c delta t. Therefore, we should normalize density, energy density by this volume. As a result, we should, we should multiply by C because emitted light comes from here to here. Therefore, we should normalize. We should multiply the factor C and 4 pi and divide it by 4 pi to obtain the spectral radiance. And we have a Planck's law in the radiation spectral radiance. So next is Stefan Boltzmann's law, which is total energy radiated per unit area, surface area of a black body across all frequency or frequency. So this is directly proportional to fourth power of temperature. This is Stefan Boltzmann's law. In radiance, it is pi over sigma over pi, fourth power of temperature, or in the radiant emittance, sigma, fourth power of temperature, and energy density, 4 sigma over C times fourth power of T, and temperature. And sigma is 2 times pi, fifth power of pi, and fourth power of Boltzmann constant divided by 15 speed of light squared and Planck constant cubed, whose value is 5.67 times 10 to minus 8. This is referred to as Stefan Boltzmann constant. Then let us Stefan Boltzmann constant law. And it is quite easy because we have already know the Planck's law of radiation. We simply integrate the Planck's law of radiation by frequency. Then we have from Boltzmann's law in the emittance. So we integrate this formula, and in order to easy to calculate, we have a new variable h nu over kb over t is equal to x. Then it becomes this function, and this integral of x cubed over ex minus 1 with respect to x from 0 to infinity is known to be pi, fourth power of pi over 15. Therefore, it becomes like this, and using Stefan Boltzmann constant, it becomes like this. And for the radiant emittance in the flux, we integrate the radiance by the this formula that we have already learned at the beginning of this lecture. And in this calculation, we have d phi. This is integrated from 0 to 2 pi. And this simply becomes 2 pi. And remaining part is a pi of cosine theta, sine theta times d theta with respect to d theta from 0 to 2 over pi over 2. And using the formula property of my trigonal function, this cosine theta, sine theta is equal to sine 2 theta over 2, then this become unity, and it is equal to final result of sigma times 4th power of temperature T. So these things are already written in the many textbooks of statistical mechanics, but for our present purpose, we need a specific argument. So the velocity of light in the medium is slower than in vacuum. So if we consider the velocity of the light, Q, which is smaller than C, and refractive index N is equal to C over Q. This is, N is confusing with the quantum number of harmonics, but the number of harmonics do not appear anymore. Therefore, from here, N is refractive index. And then the Planck's law is written in this way in the radiance formula with a new other function mu. And in the medium, this C is replaced by Q. So this means wavelength. The velocity of light becomes slower than the wavelength in the is a smaller. The velocity is smaller. Then using refractive index, it becomes like this n squared over black body in vacuum. Similarly, Stefan Boltzmann's law is luminosity radiant emittance. Emittance is not emittance. Radiance L is equal to averaged refractive index times sigma over pi T cube, 4th power of temperature. And average is given by the Planck's law. So as you know, at higher frequency, N goes to unity, and low wavelengths, low frequency, N become large. Therefore, we need average. Important point is that radiated energy in medium is higher than vacuum, proportional to average refractive index squared. This is important for our present purpose. So let us consider thermal resistance of radiative heat transfer. And as we have learned in the lattice thermal conductivity, without if vacuum, there is no thermal resistance, therefore we cannot define thermal conductivity. But if the medium or absorb and emit light, it acts as a it causes a thermal resistance, as is phonon in Umklapp process of the phonon. So therefore, optical absorption of the light is essential for the radiative heat transfer. Then let us define several terms of the absorption. So intensity of the light passing through a semi-transparent body is exponentially attenuated. Therefore, transmitted light is equal to incident light intensity times exponential function minus alpha s. S is the length of the path, and alpha is absorption coefficient, and which is nearly equal the incident light intensity times 1 minus alpha s if absorption is small. And the change of the intensity is equal to minus alpha times original intensity times the length of the path ds. In, for example, FTIR spectroscopy, we encounter the term absorbance. Absorbance is an exponential of the incident light with over transmitted light. And here we use a natural logarithm, but in FTIR spectra, usually common logarithm is used. In any way, if we use a natural logarithm, the absorbance is equal to absorption coefficient times the length of the path. And the absorbed intensity is original intensity minus transmitted intensity, therefore, which is equal to incident intensity times 1 minus exponential function minus AS. I'm not sure this is correct terminology or not, but absorptivity, psi, which is the ratio of the absorbed light with respect to the original light, and which is equal to 1 minus exponential function minus AS, alpha S. So let me obtain the photon mean free path. Here written by the lambda, large lambda for PHT photon. So we have approximation, average of the length of the path in which photon can reach. So the intensity of photon decreases exponentially. Therefore, average length of photon in which photon can pass over is integration of S path times intensity with respect to path divided by the normalized factor integration of the intensity with respect to path, then which is by this calculation it is equal to 1 over half. Therefore, photon mean free path is reciprocal absorption coefficient. Therefore, intensity of transmitting light is equal to incident light times exponential function minus S divided by photon mean free path. Equation 5335. And let us argue about introduce the equation radiative heat transfer. Here the IV is I nu is local specific intensity, and specific intensity we have a energy of the radiative heat thermal radiation increase by emission of a medium in the volume dV. And volume dV is area times path ds. And here, epsilon v nu is referred as emission coefficient. The emitted energy is proportional to this emission coefficient. As we have already learned, the intensity decreases by the absorption, and lost energy by absorption is proportional to absorbed intensity, which is minus alpha ITS, and then minus alpha mu local intensity nu. Then change of the local intensity I nu is equal to minus alpha nu I nu ds times epsilon emission coefficient times ds r. Then differential we differentiate local intensity IV with respect to the path ds. Then the change of the local intensity with path is minus alpha mu I nu plus epsilon mu. Here we consider the plane parallel symmetry. So we consider the heat transferred as in one direction. Here temperature gradient parallel to the temperature gradient. Then in this case the path inclined to the temperature gradient ds is this dx have this relation. The path in the direction of the temperature gradient is dx, and ds is the path, and the theta is the angle between ds and dx. Then here we express this cosine theta using parameter mu. Then differential with respect to path s is equal to mu times differential with respect to x. Therefore, the equation of the radiative heat transfer is written using mu times local differential of local intensity with respect to x is equal to minus alpha nu times I nu plus epsilon nu. And here we normalize this. We divide this equation by absorption coefficient alpha nu. So then equation becomes like this. Alpha nu come here. Like this, and this epsilon nu over alpha nu is referred to a source function, and the emittance is here we define emissivity epsilon var variant epsilon, which is a emission coefficient divided by black body function, Planck function. Because emission coefficient should increase with increasing the temperature with black body function. Therefore, using emissivity is more essential. And we know that here we consider local thermal equilibrium where absorption and emission balanced. Therefore, emissivity and absorption coefficient are nearly equal. In this approximation, the source function is nearly equal to the Planck function. Then now we ready to introduce radiative thermal conductivity. We consider radiative thermal conductivity with under the temperature gradient dT over dx. So we consider parallel symmetry radiation equation, and we consider local thermal equilibrium in the medium. Then source function is equal to black body function of medium in the medium. Therefore, the spatial variation of the local intensity can be expressed using this in this equation, and by this approximation, the source function is replaced by black body function, the medium, and we also approximate this local intensity by black body function, the medium. Then we consider the energy flux at frequency nu integrated over all directions using this formula. Then the function flux is equal to integration of the local intensity for the whole direction, and this local intensity is separated into two terms, and this former term is symmetric. Therefore, this is almost symmetric. Therefore, this is nearly zero. And we consider this gradient times projection mu and absorption coefficient alpha lambda mu, and cosine theta sine theta d lambda d theta. Then we have integrate this part with this one way, and we have minus 4 pi over 3 alpha nu times the partial derivative of the black body function, Planck law of thermal radiation in the medium with respect to direction x. Then we obtain heat flow to integrate this flux as a function of frequency across all frequency nu. Then we have this formula, and here we apply Rossland mean absorption, which is 1 over alpha lambda. Rossland mean absorption coefficient is equal to ratio of the 1 over absorption coefficient at the given frequency times derivative of a black body function with respect to integrations of derivative of black body function. Then we have this form. And we assume this integral, this partial differential and the integration can be exchanged, order can be exchanged, and no. And here we have this heat flow, heat flux, and radiative thermal conductivity is a minus heat flux over temperature gradient. Then dT over dC count here as inverse dZ over dt. Then this differential with respect to x can be replaced by differential with respect to temperature T. Then we assume the integration of with respect to nu and the temperature differential can be exchanged. Therefore, radiative thermal conductivity is 4 pi over 3 times Rosserman absorption coefficient times differential of this integral, which is Stefan Boltzmann's function. Then we differentiate this red one, Stefan Boltzmann's law, with respect to temperature. Then we have very well-known equation for the radiative thermal conductivity, 16 over 3 alpha r Rossland radiation absorption coefficient times the average refractive index squared times Stefan Boltzmann constant times temperature cubed. So we know this equation is very well known from 1957 by Clark. So equation 5355. So it's takes a very long time. Took a very long time. Do you have any question in this derivation? This is quite complicated. Did you understand? It was very difficult for me to understand this physics. So black body, as we have already learned, black body function shift with increasing temperature. And this is a black body function, Planck's law of thermal radiation, as a function wavelength. So peak shift to high wavelength and increase largely. And this dotted line is absorption spectrum. Absorption coefficient spectra, spectral absorption coefficient, and it shifts to low wave numbers in the case of this is natural origin. So therefore, because of the increase of black body radiation, according to the Stefan Boltzmann's law, radiative conductivity increase primarily. However, the absorption coefficient increase, and absorption coefficient comes in the denominator. Therefore, the radiative thermal conductivity does not increase proportional to the temperature cubed. It's increase much slower because of the increase of the absorption coefficient. So there are another thermal resistance, which is scattering on the grain boundary. So if we assume the interface reflectivity is R and the grain size is D, then if completely transparent, photon mean free path due to the grain boundary is written in this way. A grain size over R. So if the grain boundary scattering is 0, reflectivity is 0, then photon mean free path is infinitely long if the transparent. And if the reflectivity goes to unity, complete reflection, the photon mean free path is equal to grain size. Therefore, grain size is important for the radiative heat transfer. Total photon mean free path, large lambda total, is expressed in this equation. 1 over total is equal to 1 over mean free path by photon plus mean free path by grain boundary, and which is equal to absorption coefficient plus reflectivity, interface reflectivity over grain size. Here I made some explanation of the paper by Hofmeister 2005, but I am not sure this paper is correct or not. Therefore, let us reserve the detailed argument about Hofmeister's study. But what is important is because of the reflectivity of the grain boundary and the grain size, the radiative heat thermal conductivity shows a very complex function. Yeah. So let me finish the quick course of the mineral physics here. Do you have any questions?